Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Project Vision. I'm Adam Sancic. I am one of the Vision chairs. I want to welcome you. Thank you so much for making it out today. Thank you for your effort in supporting this work. I'm happy to introduce my co-chair that I wanted to ask if she could say a couple words. Kiana McClure is with us today, and she will be co-chairing Vision moving forward. Welcome, Kiana.
Thank you very much, everybody. I'll keep this short and sweet so we can move on with the agenda, but I would just like to introduce myself. I am Kiana McClure. I sit on the Rutland City Board of Aldermen. I am the second youngest person in the community to ever hold that seat, so I'm very, very excited to be able to step into positions such as co-chair of Vision. Despite being so young, I'm a member of this community. I've grown up here. I'm happy to be here, and I want to join you all in this good work to make Rutland into something even better. So thank you guys so much. Thank you.
So I wanted to get started with any introductions of first-timers in the room. Anybody new to Vision? And we're going to bring a microphone around so they can you can be heard.
Hi, Diane Drake. I'm the Executive Director of ARC, Rutland area.
Diane, welcome. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Christine Thompson. I'm the Community Liaison at the VNA and Hospice, so here to support our community and glad to be here. Thank you.
Welcome. And over here on the left.
I'm Cindy Baird, and I work at the Parent-Child Center of Rutland County, and I'm just stepping in to the role of directing the FAC program there, Families at the Center. So glad to be here.
Good luck. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Julie Fitzgibbons. I work at the police department. I'm a community resource specialist.
Jason Williams. I was just hired back on Monday as the Community Response Team Sergeant under Commander Prouty.
Wonderful. Welcome. Great to have you. So we'll get started with Mayor Doenges' remarks. Mayor?
Hey everybody, thanks for coming. I'll also keep it short today. I know it's been a tough couple of months in Rutland with everything that we've had going on, not to mention the flooding that we had last week while I was even out of town. You know, I remember my first Project Vision meeting, there was a lot of discussion about compassion fatigue then, and I can only imagine where it's at right now. But the one thing that I just want to say to everybody who's been helping or anybody who's here for the meeting today is just everybody's been supporting each other, and I just want to thank you all for your help. It's a big deal when Rutland sees the support that's in place, even to the point where, you know, the Red Cross was ready to close down the shelter last week after having one family there or one person there for a couple nights. Then another family showed up with 3, and then that night someone else showed up with 7. You know, that type of ability to just turn back around and keep a shelter open or pick up the phone and answer a phone call or offer a bed or offer some clothes or help. You know, I see that constantly every single day over the past few months, and I'm just really proud of what our city does and how we come together. So thank you very much for that, and you know, I'm glad to be here for the meeting today. So thank you.
Chief Kilcullen. Come on down.
Thanks, Adam. So it seems like it's been forever since we last got together here. I think it was May probably, because I think June we didn't have a meeting scheduled, and we got a little busy in July, and here we are in August. So first, thanks everyone for all the support you've shown us over the last month. We've had a real difficult time, as you can imagine. It was amazing, really, to see the support. You know, I think we always knew we had that, but to see it, it was absolutely amazing. You know, and you drive through other communities, and you don't always see it. But driving around the city now, seeing the signs that went up, I'm not sure who commissioned that, but I think it might have been the day after Jess was killed, I got a call from Steve Costello and said, hey, drop some signs off at the station for her. I didn't know what they were at the time, but that's what they were. And to see them go up around the city and people calling for those signs was just amazing. And it is absolutely what sort of gets us through times like this. I can't thank you enough for all the expressions of support. You've kept us fed over about a 2-week period. Well, not always healthy options, but it's all right. We had full stomachs, so we did occasionally get a vegetable platter. That was nice, but wasn't that often. But plenty of pizza, plenty of sandwiches, plenty of sweets, and it was amazing. And not just within the city of Rutland, but from outside the city itself, city also. So it was amazing to see that support. And I wish every agency could say they've got the support that we have here in Rutland. So, and I think the reason we have that is because of the relationships we've developed over the last 12 years or so with Project Vision. We've had those relationships before these tragedies occurred, and so and I think that really helped us get through the difficult times we were having over the last month or so. So again, thank you. Can't thank you enough. We had gotten cards from really across the country. It was amazing, and again. But I think the local support was probably unmatched anywhere in the country. So again, thank you. Moving forward one day at a time. You heard some of the news. Jason Williams is our new Community Response Team Sergeant. Jason was with us a number of years before moving on to sort of a hobby. That wasn't a full-time hobby. So he's back as a full-time sergeant, as a Community Response Team Sergeant, as he said. The Community Response Team, we've increased the numbers there over the last year, really, with our first community resource specialist when Matt Prouty came back. Matt came back as our commander, and we're up to 3 community response specialists now with Julie. You met Julie, Bill Giotti, who's here, and Kyle Dawson, who's here too. And so it's amazing the work they're doing. With fewer sworn officers that we've got now, it's critical. We're still getting the calls we're getting. Those calls don't always require a police response. We're able to respond sort of quickly with a community resource specialist. So they've been a great help, not just to those we're serving, but to the rest of the department as well, to the sworn officers who aren't responding to those non-criminal calls. So they've been a great help, so thanks to all of you. Because of the incidents we've gone through over the last month or so, we've had to reassign some officers within the department. Our community response team right now with Amelia Rosario and with Ernie, our downtown beat officer, and Ernie LaGuardia, our school resource officer, have been assigned to patrol. We're still 4 officers who were involved in the incidents over the last month are still not back to work, so we've had to reassign some of our officers from our community response team into patrol. But once we get those back, again, you'll have the biggest team we've had in quite some time, as I said, with the 3 community resource specialists, with a school resource officer, with an animal control officer, with our downtown beat officer, so our crime analyst. So it'll be a really busy unit. So it was critical that we get the sergeant back. As we grew the team, it kind of became more critical to get a sergeant back. Unfortunately, Jason was willing to come back in a full-time capacity. So thanks again, Jason. We continue to process candidates. Academy started this past Monday, the level 3 full-time academy. That started this past Monday. We started with 2. Still trying to figure out whether we still have 2. But we've got at least 1 still. And so we're pretty hopeful that we'll get through the academy with at least one of the 2. We're, again, continue to process candidates. We've over the last month or so, we've probably gotten about 10 applications. We're getting interest, not just local interest, but others from across the country. We've got a candidate right now from Florida who actually did a full 20-year career in Florida, is looking to move up to Vermont. And when our recruitment team spoke with them about what attracted them to Rutland specifically, it was, this individual had done his homework and kind of looked at the entire package, benefit package that we were offering. And he said, you really stuck out. And that's exactly what we were trying to do. When I talked about this before, when the board supported us offering ski passes to Killington. So what's attracting people to Vermont? And then how do you, and when you're trying to, and you've got a fairly small pool of candidates, how do you stick out from the other potential employers? And that's what we did. So, and that was one of those things. Offering gym memberships to sort of the premier fitness facility in the area, and offer passes to Killington was really stuck out for this individual. So again, 20-year career in law enforcement in Florida, plenty of time left for us to take advantage of, so we'll be interviewing him on the 15th and hopefully go forward from there. So it's a process, as you know. The background process itself takes months. And then the hiring process, once hired, the process going forward takes quite some time too. So once they're hired, it takes like 9 months before someone is up and running. So it takes quite a while to get to get our numbers back up. I have a sort of a running tally on my whiteboard, and we're a couple more than we were a year ago, despite the number of hires we had. We've had some separations over that same time period, but we are up a couple over where we were about a year ago. So we'll continue to go forward, and we'll get to where we need to get. So with that, thanks again for everything you've done for us over the last a month. We couldn't do without the support of community. It's really what sustains us. And we're out there dealing with a lot of the same types of calls with some individuals who are really struggling, and we sometimes sort of lose our focus. We're dealing with that person again. But again, seeing those signs, driving around the city, really, it does wonders for us. So again, thanks so much. Right.
Thank you, Chief. So I did want to have the opportunity to give folks time for announcements as well. I did want to remind folks that we do have FEMA on site at Asa Bloomer Building on the 3rd floor for disaster recovery. They are open 7 days a week. We will have an Agency of Human Services staff there 7 days a week as well to provide additional support. So for those of you that need more information around that, please feel free to contact me. Has gone out on the Vision listserv once or twice, but they will be here through September. The other thing that I did want to just emphasize is we're looking for folks that also could potentially be embedded in the Vision Center down in Rutland Police Department. So if that's something you're interested in and getting in there for even if it's 4 hours a month, the idea of integrating and collaborating and getting to know each other on a personal level, it's made a big difference for some of the staff that we've had in there. We're going to expand and have our BCCI nurses also supported and going in there at least a couple times a month. So please contact me directly, and I'm going to start getting a schedule going so that we can have folks in there and developing the relationships that make all the difference in the work that we do. So I wanted to give some time for announcements. Maybe I'll start with Matt, and then we'll go from there. Come on up, Matt.
Taking my cues from the man behind the curtain. So I don't know if you folks saw a request on the listserv today from a Karen Hunter requesting for a request for a ramp, either if you have access to one or if you got a whole bunch of money laying around that's burning a hole in your pocket and you want to buy one, or you know where we can get one. She has a client that is in need. So take a look on the listserv, you can see that request. On the 22nd of this month, we'll be hosting a motivational interviewing training right here in this space. That was also put out on the listserv. There's a registration, so if you work for an organization that works with people that are at high risk to overdose or have overdosed, this training is for you. So my staff will be there, I will be there. It's not meant to be just for the police. You know, we're all working in this space, and it's this skill works for a lot of different disciplines. So if you're available for that, do that. It is free to you, and if you're someone that is enticed by a stipend for attending, if you take a survey at the end, you can get that as well. What was the other thing? And that is it for me. Thanks.
Thanks, Matt. Announcements from agencies, community partners? And mic up.
Hi, I'm Jess Ellis. I'm the program director at News Story here in Rutland. If you're not familiar, we serve survivors and victims of domestic and sexual violence and human trafficking. We are hiring for a full-time direct service position, and that information will be coming out on the listserv. So keep your eye out for that, and if you're interested, get in touch with us.
Thanks, Jess.
Hi everyone, Monica Gingoli-Kiefner. I'm with the Vermont Department of Health, and I'm also partnering with Rutland County Pride. I don't know how many of you saw the article, but Rutland officially has a Pride Center now. It's open downtown right next to Tokyo House. There's no operating hours yet, but if you have any questions about that, please find me.
Thanks, Mom.
Hi. Just a note, ARC is having their annual car wash fundraiser at the Bank of Bennington on August 19th. If you need a car wash, come on down. We're also having a bake sale that day.
Great combo.
My name is Damien. I'm the director of the Rutland County Community Justice Center at Brock. We also have an open position for a supervised visitation specialist. It is part-time, 20 hours a week. But it's for a supervised visitation.
So good afternoon, it's Richard Gallo, Vermont Veterans Outreach Program. We're going to be located down at the fairgrounds this week. I don't know if anybody else here, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but we're going to be inside the presidential building with the VBA, Vet Center, a bunch of my community partners that work within the VA. And also there is a upcoming retirements briefing, Appreciation Day up at Camp Johnson for Vermont Army National Guard that takes place August 12th this week.
Hi, everyone. I'm Liz DeMarco-Weinman. I know a lot of you, and I just wanted to mention that I write a twice-a-month column in the Mountain Times that is all about nonprofits. And what I do is I either cover the issues that the nonprofit is dedicated to, and I love talking about the leaders of the nonprofits. So I get some notices from people. I don't write about everybody because I do look at the 990s and make sure that the nonprofit is a good nonprofit financially, but if you see the Mountain Times today, which goes on the newsstand, I do have a piece in there, and you can contact me via the email that is at the bottom. The piece today is about how charities are facing the Me Too crisis. So it doesn't mean that if you're a charity that you don't have Me Too issues, you do. So anyway, thank you for letting me mention that.
Thanks, Liz.
Yeah, my mind slipped me as well. So 17 August is Veteran Appreciation Day down at the Vermont State Fair this week as well.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice? Awesome, thanks everyone. I did also just want to let folks know that I did have contact with one of the FEMA outreach staff, and they're looking to set up a long-term recovery group here for Rutland County. If anybody's interested in that work, please get a hold of me via my email. The Anna Aguiar is actually going to be reaching out to some of you. I've given a couple points of reference for folks that were involved in that previously, but it's some work that I think last happened in 2013 in response to Irene, and looking to kind of shore up and fill the gaps for supports where FEMA is unable to provide for folks that have been affected by the flooding. So please reach out to me directly for that. And from here, I think we're going to go to breakout sessions. If anybody doesn't have any other announcements. So Jamie, you want to take your folks out front, and Matt will have folks in the front here for yours as well. So those of you that aren't familiar, we've got Jamie that will be doing the health committee, and Matt is running the, what do we call it this week? What are we calling it? So, community policing this week. So please feel free to join the subcommittee, and we'll get back in about 20 minutes. Thanks, everyone. All right, everyone, if we could take our seats. Want to make sure we have time for report outs. Jamie, did you want to get started with the health committee? Right in the middle of your drink? Thank you.
Okay, so a group of us met to talk health committee stuff. Our next meeting, so everyone knows for folks who weren't with us in the front of the building, is September 19th from 11 to 12:30 in the Vision Center. Awesome. And we really are going to focus our time in that meeting on providers and agencies who work with folks with substance use disorder. We're finding and seeing that since COVID, the lack of collaboration and the ability to get together and the capacity levels of these agencies, not everybody is on the same page, or do they know what's happening in all these different agencies and how we can be supporting each other. So this session is really going to be an informational session where the agencies are going to be invited to the table to bring some of the very basic information of hours, contact person, services provided, challenges that they're facing, referral intake process, wait list numbers, so that folks can sort of connect and be on the same page with each other. So while we're trying to support folks who are struggling in the community, we know who to call, where to call, etc. So also during our time, we sort of went over some trends and some other things that we've been seeing in the community, and we talked a little bit about some services for our youth. The Department of Health is working on a askable adult training that they're going to be providing to schools, and we're hoping that we can expand that to the community in the future. We also, askable adults. So it's really a way to help adults learn how to connect with youth, and it's youth-led, which is really pretty amazing. And we know from the data that our youth are asking for this, and they really need this. So we're hoping to train not only adults in schools, but adults in our community as well. I better open my notes now. Okay. We talked a lot about mental health, behavioral health, access, wait lists. We know this continues to be an issue in our community. Our providers know that this can be problematic, but they are working as hard as they can. So just something to throw out there if you are struggling with trying to get anyone you're working with in mental health care. For adults, and Jess, correct me if I'm wrong, open access at the Community Care Network Adults. I wrote it down and I still can't remember it.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, beginning at 9 a.m. It's a first come, first served basis. I think they're closed 12 to 1 for lunch, where they're able to access services. They meet with a clinician, are set up for follow-up appointments, and then connected from those follow-up appointments to recommended care. Easy to access groups, a little bit of a wait to access individual mental health treatment. Open access being located out of our 7 Court Square location.
So to wrap up and summarize, we talked a lot about some of the gaps, some of the needs and challenges that we're facing in the community, but the whole point of us getting together and having these conversations is so that we can identify what those gaps and needs are, and if we are in the know of what's happening at a certain agency or organization and why things aren't happening the way we might want them to happen, we can at least be compassionate and understand what's happening. And having that connection between agencies and collaboration is so important. So if you're interested in that, please come to the next Project Vision Health Committee meeting, September 19th at 11 o'clock at the Vision Center. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Mr. Prouty, update community policing.
So on the community policing side, I spent some time talking about our outreach care team initiative that's being led by the Free Clinic that we're supporting out of the Vision Center. Next month will be great because Tia Polino from the Free Clinic will be presenting. I'm asking her to present on that. Pretty sure she knows. But yeah, so this is an exciting endeavor on our part. This is going to be a pretty robust team with the CRSs, folks from the Medical Reserve Corps, Rutland Mental Health, some volunteers from RRMC. Yeah, so we're going to be trying to work in that margin in the city to improve our healthcare outcomes that way. We also had a discussion about housing with Stephen Box, and from that discussion, I think we're all in agreement that Vision really does need a dedicated housing conversation and roundtable, especially involving our private landlords and how that interacts with our other providers, whether it be the federal and state providers. So stay tuned for that, and Stephen will get together and come up with some dates and times and try to facilitate those conversations.
Thanks so much, Matt. So I think Turning Point's also involved in that outreach piece as well, just so folks know. That's okay. So we always try and end on a positive note. I'm looking for any story or anecdote or anything that somebody would like to share to end the meeting. Don't make me call on you. Yes, sir, Richard. Nice.
So we recently had a veteran that came back in. I'm working with Mike Daly out of Turning Point in Tracy, and we had a veteran that started to re-engage, and in this last couple weeks, I want to say thank you to Kathleen out of Economic Services who sat down with this veteran, and he's getting the much-needed help that he needs. He is now back under housing in a hotel, but we're working in a lot of positive ways. Brock is working with him on getting him an ID. For some of you, we're talking about driver's licenses and Vermont state IDs. You've got to have special forms of identification. So he's getting a lot of access that he stopped getting for quite a long time. So with that, Mike Daly, Kathleen, all of our community partners, Brock, that are working with him, thank you. We are making some progress.
Anybody else before we close out?
Real briefly, my name is Phil Crossman. I'm in the Community College of Vermont. Oh, sure. Phil Crossman. I'm from the Community College of Vermont. As many of you know, we have a spring semester that will be starting in the fall, but I just wanted you to know that our criminal justice classes are full to the brim. We've got a lot of social work classes that are full, so maybe there's help on the way. And I would just say there's a lot of funding that comes through the community college these days as well, and if you have people who are maybe 3/4 of the way ready to be employed, we'd be happy to sort of help them out the rest of the way, particularly in critical occupations right now. So it could be that you have people who would be interested in working for you. They're not quite ready. They don't have money maybe to go back to college, and it would be worth their asking. So thanks.
Thanks for sharing that, Phil. Appreciate it. Anyone else before we? Wonderful. Oh, Jamie?
I just want to share a positive story. Rutland Partners for Prevention has been working with Come Alive Outside and some youth interns this summer to provide pop-up events for youth. And these are designed by youth and led by youth. And they were telling me the story about how one of the events they had like a big slip and slide, and they had water balloons, and they watched this one kid show up and was just sort of like hanging out and by himself and not really doing much until two of the other, and there was a water balloon fight happening, and all the other kids were doing that. And then one of the other kids came to the loner and was like, "Hey, do you want to play with us?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course." And it was just that invitation to come and join in on the fun that that kid was waiting for. And just as, they told me that, I'm like, oh, amazing. It just feels so good to hear, that we have youth in our community that are
trying to be inclusive and bring everybody in, and it just reminded me how important it is to invite others into your fun. So just wanted to share that.
Unfortunately, I was not there, but through the grapevine and my team that I work with, I'd like to congratulate all the partners, especially the police department, on your National Night Out last week. And if you have not seen yet, there was a dance-off between Commander Prouty and Officer Rosario. I am Team Rosario, sorry. But, but I heard wonderful things and great things for everybody that participated, and I thank you for everyone for your efforts, and hopefully I can attend next year. But a job well done. Thank you.
Great. Well, thanks everyone, and we'll see you next month.